So today I wanted to come on and talk about three different alien encounters from three separate species that I've had over the years. Now, I don't have any hard evidence to back this up. This is purely my story of three encounters that I've had. Obviously, I don't expect you to believe me. It's just something that is true to me. And I'm going to get straight into the stories now. And you can maybe tell me what you think. So, first of all, just to give you some history, growing up as a child, I watched a lot of X Files. I've always been interested in space. I do believe in things like UFOs, UAPs. I like a lot of sci fi programs and stuff like that. I'm open to believing. That's just giving you a background. Obviously, I'm not coming on here as someone who's saying I'm a total skeptic. This happened and now I'm a believer. Just these things have happened, and let's just get straight into it. So, when I was about 8 years old, I remember going to bed one night and I was sitting up in bed, I had my curtains drawn, so the curtains were closed. I kind of, for some reason, could see a bit of a light coming through, so I opened the curtain from the back to peer through, and I could see there was like a bright light in the sky. Looked like there was some kind of craft there. Now, the spookiest part was there was an alien literally hovering. I could only see from, waist up outside my window, and I was kind of terrified. And it just went like this and pointed up. And the next thing that happened was me kind of waking up in the morning. And obviously, when you dream about something, I was like, was that a dream or was it real? To me, it felt like it was real. Obviously, I have experience with dreaming about something. You wake up and you think, oh, that was an interesting dream, or that was a weird dream. This did not feel like a dream. It felt like it happened. I can still remember it now, burnt into my memory. I was like, that was a very unusual experience. I have no idea what happened. The alien kind of looked like a typical grey alien that you would see on a TV show, with the big black eyes, small kind of body, skinny, and a kind of greyish colour. The next encounter I had was in my 20s, when I lived in London. I was walking through a busy part of London and I could see someone walking towards me, and straight away, like the hairs on the back of my neck went up. I kind of got a cold shiver. I felt like this person does not belong here. They were about 7 foot tall, and I could see them walking in a crowd of people, their head kind of above everyone else's around them. He was in a suit, he had blonde hair, blonde eyebrows, and like I say, just kind of gave me not the creeps, but and I was trying to think of a way to put it before. It's like our brains recognize faces in things, and you see a face in the cloud, and it's like you look and you get a feeling. It's like, oh, there's a face in a cloud, but you feel that it's not actually a human face, it's just a cloud. And this felt like when I could see this guy walking towards me, which, by the way, to cut to the chase, when I kind of was looking into it afterwards, there is a species supposedly of aliens called the Nordics, or the tall whites. And that's what I believe this to be. Now, as he approached me, as I say, I was kind of really, I don't know why, I just had this feeling. I was like, this person does not belong here. It wasn't an albino, it wasn't just somebody with blonde hair. He had really pale white skin, which to me was almost tinging on being grey. So it was really pale white, slightly grey. And when he walked past, he was in a suit, he was carrying a briefcase. There was kind of a wall there, and it affected me so much I kind of jumped up onto the wall to kind of turn round and look to see where he goes. It just kept going. Like I say, I had this feeling up my back. I was like, that he seemed like he didn't belong there. Was it an alien? Was it a shapeshifter? I don't know. I have no idea. But like I say, that was just an encounter I had. Never had one of those encounters since or before. But to me, that potentially was an alien walking around the streets of London. My third and final encounter, and this one really was creepy, was during lockdown. I was driving my car, had my friend with me in the passenger seat. It was the daytime. We were driving through the British countryside. We have fields of sheep, sometimes there's cows. And just out the corner of my eye, I kind of seen something and I turned. Obviously, I was driving, so I also had to pay attention to the windy roads. When I looked to my left, in this field in the distance, maybe about 50 yards away, I could see something that was kind of on all fours, but kind of the top part was up a bit, but running on all fours, really skinny. Now, I would say if this thing stood up, it'd be about 17 feet tall. Like it seemed huge. It had it had a small head. It had quite broad shoulders. The arms and legs were kind of thin but chunky in the middle. And it was moving in a way like something you would see on a horror film. Now, doing some research afterwards, apparently there's a species called the mantis, which I think this was. It wasn't green, it was white with maybe a tiny bit of black on. And I was thinking, when I was thinking about this before I come on, I was like, someone's going to say you've seen a cow. This was not a cow, it wasn't a sheep. This was something, and it was moving really fast across the ground. This was during lockdown as well, so there was no other people around. It was moving at some speed, I would say maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, running across this field. I only seen it for maybe 2 or 3 seconds because I kind of looked and was like, what the hell is that? Told my friend in the car, I was like, did you just see that? He was like, see what? He looked, he was like, oh, I think I see something. What is that? But it wasn't like a feeling where I was like, I want to stop and investigate. It was kind of like a feeling like, let's get the hell out of here, because that is the creepiest thing that I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen some creepy things. So there are my 3 different encounters. Now, the first one, when I was a little boy, like sometimes look back and think, was I dreaming or was I not dreaming? Now, I've only ever had one other dream about a grey alien. I'm someone who watches a lot of sci-fi, Doctor Who, on YouTube, all about aliens, UFOs, those kinds of things. I've only ever had 2 dreams. The first dream was that one when I was 8, 9 years old. The second one was not too long ago. Now, this was a grey alien, but with the big black eyes, skinny body, but taller than the one I'd seen before, and it was less smooth in its appearance. Like it had kind of wrinkles, I would describe them as, or features. It was kind of stood towards the bottom of my bed. It kind of looked at me and it said something, and I was like creeped out a bit by what it said. It wasn't anything, like the world's going to end, but it was something related to me. And then obviously we wake up the next morning, you think, was that a dream? I say I wake up, like I say, you wake up from a dream, you usually know when you've had a dream, but this seemed so real, like I could still see them there, as if it happened in my room. Like usually if I have a dream, you dream about something other than the situation you're in. I'm not saying I wasn't dreaming either, because I know these things could simply just be me dreaming, but yeah, so that was the first experience with a grey alien. The second experience in London kind of got me on a journey where I was like, what was that? And I know it sounds crazy. That's when I kind of discovered about the Nordics and the tall whites, which I didn't really know about at the time. Kind of led me on a journey. I was like, I am sure that is just what I have seen. And then obviously my third encounter, which was really creepy. I believe to be what they call a mantis. It kind of looked like if a praying mantis had its arms up, it was kind of running across the floor. The grass, it was a field, but it was white with some kind of black or darker grey markings across the back, running at some speed, I guess 50 miles an hour in the opposite direction to what we were going. In the distance, again, had a real feeling of, this is not a situation you want to be anywhere near. I didn't feel like that in the first encounter, the second encounter, the third encounter. I was like, this seems like something you would not want to come into close contact with. And if any mantises are watching, don't take that personally. I'm just saying, from a distance, very creepy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you ever encountered anything extraterrestrial that you believe? Do you think it could have been a dream? Have you seen any UFOs or had any strange experiences? Let me know in the comments below, and do subscribe because I am going to make some more videos very soon, and they will be about my UFO encounters, and I have had quite a few. So I'll see you soon.